record. There we go. And I'm just gonna make it so I can see the chat here. Technical difficulties, la la la. Okay. Okay, there we go, chat, awesome. Yeah, so Candace is very excited. She is in Vancouver Island. Serenity says, hi, I love you too, Serenity. Feeling super backed by the universe and grateful. Fuck yeah, I love it. Yes, so amazing to see you all and have you here with me. And yeah, I just wanted to let you know that throughout the entire workshop today, I'd really love for it to be interactive. So I have some really juicy information and some super transformative practices and tools that we're going to go through, but it's really so much more fun, I believe, if we can all connect together and really build a community here and break some of the silence that there has so long been around our sexuality, around our bodies, and around our empowerment. So if at any time during this workshop you have any questions or you just want to share about your experience or have any comments, you're always welcome to share in the chat. And then I will also have some thought-provoking questions that I'll throw out there as well. And just want to let you know also, you're more than welcome to turn your camera on or keep it off, whatever your comfort level is. And the same about sharing and participating. You can participate or you can just sit back and watch the entire thing. But I do ask, you've taken the time to show up today, and you can take this time, this hour, for your own growth and your own connection and healing, and really set this time aside for yourself without distractions. I really encourage you to do so. Of course, if you need to leave early or anything like that, I know it's the middle of the day, and so I'd rather have you here part of the time than not at all. So to begin today, I just wanted to invite us all to just take a few deep breaths together and really just ground into the moment here. So the work that I offer is very embodied, and taking some deep breaths is just a really beautiful and very simple way to connect with the body, connect with the moment. And so breathing in and just feeling yourself arrive fully in this moment. And exhaling out and just letting go of anything from the day, anything that's come before this moment. It's not necessary right now. Seeing if there's anything else that you can do in this moment to invite a little bit more pleasure in. So maybe you want to take your shoes off or get a blanket or just give yourself a little massage or a little bit of love. And just notice that you have that power in every single moment to choose pleasure and to soothe yourself and bring yourself back to the moment. So feeling free to continue with the pleasure, I'm just going to give a little introduction about myself. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Francesca Liu. I'm a sexual empowerment coach, and my mission is to support women to step into their radiant power through reconnecting to the pleasure and freedom and confidence that they were born with, came into this world with, and it's their birthright. I am a coach. I have one-on-one clients and also group programs to really support women to step into their full power, both during sex and in the rest of the world as well, because everything's related. And the style of coaching that I offer is a super potent and delicious blend of sacred sexuality and tantric techniques, and also modern neuroscience and coaching modalities that really blend together to create deep and lasting results. I haven't always been a coach. I started out in the corporate world. I was a corporate recruiter for about 6 years. I had a long-term relationship at the time. And after a while, I just started feeling like there was something missing in my life. And so I quit my job. I left my 6-year relationship and spent 3.5 years traveling the world. I gained experience in sacred sexuality, breathwork facilitation, and plant medicine as well. And doing so has really helped me to reclaim my own confidence, my own empowerment in my life, and really started to realize I can make this fucking life what it is that I desire to make it. And we always have that choice, all of us, each and every day. So I say this to say that I fucking am so passionate about my work. I love supporting women to make the same changes in their life. And yeah, I'm just want to stop really quick and welcome a couple of new people. I'm so happy to have you here. And just doing a little introduction, I wanted to just let you know that you're always willing to ask questions or comment in the chat during the entire workshop. And you're welcome to have your cameras on or off, whatever feels comfortable to you. So I want to transition into a little bit about some of the main challenges that I help my clients with, but really more importantly, why I decided to create and gift this workshop. And as I start to share this, I really support all of you to really take it in and feel, is this something that I'm going through? Do I know how this feels? Is this something that I've experienced in the past? And you're welcome to just kind of feel into that on your own. But if you feel to do so, share in the chat and you can just say me, or you can share a little bit about your experience. Because, like I said earlier, I feel that it's so important for us to come together as women and to share our experiences so that it's not, sometimes it feels like I'm the only one that's going through this, because there's so much shame and there's so much silence cloaked around these parts of our life that are huge parts of our life. And when we start to break that silence and talk together and empower and support each other, we start to reclaim our bodies and our sexuality and our lives. And so I created this workshop for you if you tend to put other people before yourself. So this could be in the bedroom, so prioritizing other people's pleasure before your own. Sometimes maybe continuing to have sex after you're tired and you really want to stop, or just feeling guilty about taking the time to receive pleasure during sex. But it could also be in other areas of your relationship and your life. So that could be not telling your partner your needs and desires in other areas of your life. It could be taking care of your friends or your parents before yourself. So that's one of the main things. I also created this workshop for you if you feel like you know more or less what turns you on or what it is that you need in your relationship, but when it comes to actually speaking that out and asking for what you want and really stating your needs or setting boundaries, you feel like something holds you back from doing that. And it's hard to get the words out. And this can lead to frustration with yourself. So, oh my gosh, like, why can't I just fucking say the things that I need or want to say? And it can also lead to resentment of your partner, kind of like, why don't they just know what I want? Do they really even love me if they can't read my mind? And I also created this workshop for you if you feel like guilt and shame tend to have a big part in your sexuality. So, again, this could be guilt around receiving pleasure, it could be guilt around asking for time that you need on your own apart from your partner. And it could also be shame, maybe for taking time for yourself. So maybe you take time for self care or self pleasure, and you feel like, oh, I should be doing something more quote unquote productive. And so, either way, these kind of thoughts really take away from our pleasure, they take away from the fun, and they take away from the connection that we can have with other people in our lives as well. So these are some of the main challenges. And I really feel like in many cases, not all, but quite a few, it's definitely the case that how we do one thing in our life translates over into other areas of our life as well. So if we are in the pattern of putting other people first, giving to other people, having all this shame, feeling like we don't deserve, these things around worthiness come up a lot as well, and lack of confidence. And so if those show up during our sex life, oftentimes it moves into every area of our life as well. And so I definitely noticed that when I stepped into empowering my sexuality and empowering myself to speak my truths in the bedroom, that all the other areas of my life also changed drastically. So, just to say a little bit more about that, I have been through all of these challenges myself. And that's one of the reasons why I'm able to effectively support other women with them. So, a lot of times when I was younger, I felt like I didn't really, first of all, know what I wanted or what turned me on during sex. And then when I did feel like I knew, I also wasn't sure how to communicate that to my partner. Denise says, I was having some technical difficulty and I couldn't hear. I had to have it sorted out, but I need to leave early. No worries at all, Denise. We're so happy to have you here. Hi, welcome. Yeah, feel free to share in the chat any comments or any questions at any time. And yeah, you're welcome to stay as long as you can and leave when you need to as well. Oh, it's okay. No worries. You probably couldn't hear during this time, but I was saying that this is a very interactive workshop. So any questions or any comments at any time are super welcome. So glad to have you here. And yeah, so I've been there. I've been there with not really knowing, first of all, like what even turns me on? What do I even want in my relationships? And then how the fuck do I communicate this to my partner? I feel like my throat's closing up. I feel like I can't speak what I desire. And so much of my sex life and my relationships was really focused on the other person. Were they having fun? Were they going to love me if I didn't do enough for them? If they started doing something for me, what could I do to, kind of make sure we were even afterwards? And so because of all of this, I'm sure you can guess I didn't have a lot of pleasure because I was like constantly in my mind. I was constantly worried. I was constantly drowning in so much guilt and so much shame. And so a lot of the pleasure that I had was very performative. So I would act like I was really enjoying it. I would fake orgasms. I would smile, during our day-to-day life, but yet this resentment was building underneath. And I felt like, how come they just don't know what it is that I want? And, at the end of the day, there's something to be said about having a giving partner, and that's very, very amazing. But we are actually responsible for our pleasure and we're responsible for our own experience. And our partner can't just know what it is that we want or need. The same with our friends or family. No one can know unless we speak our truths. And so, through my journey into inner healing and sacred sexuality, I have learned how to speak my desires, communicate with my lovers, feel more worthy about taking up space and speaking my truths and receiving, yes, pleasure, but really all the abundance that life has to offer, whether it's wealth, whether it's love, whether it's friends, beautiful places to travel, anything it is that we desire. Feeling really good about receiving that. And I've also learned how to work with the guilt that we often feel. And so that it no longer controls my life and dictates how I live my life and the actions that I take. And so I just want to say that all of this is so available to all of you as well. And this workshop today is just going to be a roadmap for the beginning steps to either start on this journey or to continue. So again, if you have any questions during any of this, feel free to let me know. And when we talk about going from people pleaser to empowered pleasure, so this people pleaser, what does that mean? This means that we put other people first. We feel guilty about speaking our truths. We give when our cup is not full. There's nothing wrong with giving. It's beautiful to be a giving person, but we have to take care of ourselves before we give to others. Otherwise, at the end of the day, it's not supportive for ourselves and it's not really supportive for others as well because of that resentment and because it just isn't a sustainable way to live. So when we talk about these people pleaser patterns, if you think about it, if you can identify with being a people pleaser, having some of those tendencies, this is probably something that you haven't just picked up within the past, year or two. This is probably something that you can look back and feel like, okay, I've been doing that for a while. And so when we have these really deep seated patterns that we're really trying to change, I always tell my clients, and I found for myself, that it takes a mixture of what I call inner and outer work to make those changes. So the inner work is the meditation, it's working with our mindset, our subconscious mind, doing breath work and meditation to really clear those blockages from our bodies. And then also the outer work. So that's taking actual steps in our life, which a lot of times are not very comfortable and they take us out of our comfort zone. And that's really, it can be really hard, but it can also be very, very important, because of course if we're just going through our life and nothing is changing, like they say, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So today we're going to be doing a blend of both. We're going to be working on healing this people pleasing good girl bullshit on the subconscious and energetic levels, and then also with some practical steps that you can take in your life as well. So let's start with the subconscious mind. And when we're talking about getting our subconscious mind on board with asking for, so being able to ask for and also being able to receive what we want, it's really important first to get super fucking clear on what it is that we actually want. And so you may be like, okay, yeah, obviously, that makes a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, when I talk to my friends and my clients, I find, yeah, Serenity says it's hard though. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's harder than it seems. And the reason why is, first of all, because we've been in these patterns for so long. And a lot of times, from the time that we're young, we can either get this more like obvious and very blatant conditioning, like our parents being like, sit down and shut up, smile, like, why are you so greedy? Why can't you help out your mother more? Like this guilt tripping that comes in, like, who are you to think that you deserve that? Or it can just be more subtle. So watching our mother, just giving, always in this kind of bitter mindset, but like not doing anything about it. And so regardless of whether it's, someone telling us straight up, you're not worthy, or just us kind of getting that feeling that this is the way that we need to be in order to be accepted by our community, those things go very, very deep and they stick into our subconscious, into our subconscious mind. And then the other part of this is, like, a lot of times I talk to people and they're like, yeah, I know what I want. But we tend to focus on the negative. So we tend to focus on what we don't want because that's what we're going through right now. And that's what we're trying to get away from. So often people will be like, oh, I'm really tired of attracting all of these unavailable partners into my life. Like, I really just don't want these partners who don't have time for me and don't love me. Or I'm really ready to release. I have all this shame around my sexuality and I'm ready to release that shame. But when we talk about it in this way, it really confuses our subconscious mind, because when we say, like, oh, no shame, no shame, no shame, what are we focusing on? Serenity says affirming statements are so important for changing your mindset. Yes, exactly. So in order to start shifting these patterns and really getting super fucking clear on what it is that we want in our sexuality and our lives, we need to start really practicing this, because even though it seems simple, the more and more that we do it, the more that our mind will start to automatically think in these positive ways and feel better and better about doing it. And so here's an exercise that you can do on your own, and I'm actually going to invite you to just do it with me right here, right now. So when you do it on your own, you can get a piece of paper or take out your computer, whatever you like to do, and just write at the top of the page, what do I actually want, or what do I want? And then just take 5 minutes to just free write any and all desires that come up. And it could be something really small, like, I would love a cup of coffee right now, or it could be
Francesca,
like, I want
I
a
have to chime in.
fucking $1 million home, and this partner that does this and this. And there's a couple of reasons why this is really helpful. So first of all, if you're familiar with the law of attraction, and Serenity is showing, oh yeah,
I literally just did this. Like,
oh my god,
it says, what do I actually desire? And I'm like, because
yes.
seriously, it's sometimes you're like, the fuck is it?
I love that.
I love that that's the assignment right now, because I'm like, I mean, it was on June 24th, but I put it on my mirror and I've been looking at it every day. So fuck yeah.
That's amazing. Yes.
I just had to
So yeah, you're one step ahead of the game over there. Yeah. So right now in here, you can write it down to yourself if you'd like. But if you are open to it, sharing in the chat and just writing some things that you want today, and it can be anything, you can just have fun with it and just share some things that you desire. And the reason for why this is so helpful is that it really starts to get you in the habit of just having desires and feeling good about having desires. And sometimes if we have trouble expressing our desires out loud, so if we're like, oh, I want to ask for this thing, but I can't during sex or in all of life, writing them down can be a really powerful step to starting to get in that mindset. So Candace wants confidence, serenity to run my own business, taking my own clients, making my own schedule, making hella money in the beauty industry. Iris wants health, healthy love, freedom, and all self-expression. Fuck yeah, I love it. Serenity wants finding more of her people. Yeah, I could go for a really nice massage right now. And I want like a month long, super delicious, luxurious vacation in the sun this winter. Denise wants more playtime, being able to ride every day and swim in the sea. Serenity says, fuck yeah. I could go for like a 2 hour, like super hot lovemaking session with multiple orgasms as well. Let's just throw that in there as well. Why not? Yeah. So if you resonate with this exercise, I really encourage you to start making a regular practice of it and really just getting into the habit of being like, I fucking want this. And another part of this, yeah, serenity could use some sensual pounding. I love that. I love that description, sensual pounding. Fuck yes. Well, and so it shall be for all of you, and even better. So, the next step to this, once you start really getting in the habit of asking for what you want, really starting to pay attention to the emotions and the sensations that this evokes within you. So sometimes, it can be a little bit playful and fun and exciting, especially when we're talking about things that sound like outrageous. But when we get to those ones that we're like, I really want this, starting to notice like, ooh, what does that bring up? Like, does it make me feel a little bit naughty? Does it make me feel a little bit like a twinge of guilt in there? Like, what kind of, like, really exploring that. And as you do this, you can feel into it right now, and you can do it on your own, and just starting to feel like, really explore, like, dive into your body and like breathe into it. And the reason for this is that a huge part of this good girl conditioning or people pleaser conditioning is that when we start to ask for and what we receive, when we start to ask for, and then especially when we start to receive what we want, it's like, you should feel bad about that. Like, who are you to think that you deserve that? You should feel guilty for that. You're greedy, especially once we start, taking up a lot of space, making a lot of money, like having this life that, like, people are like, who the fuck do you think that you are to have all of that? And so there's guilt, but there can also be fear around this, because from the time that we're young, we've basically been told, this is the way that you fit in, this is the way that you assimilate with society. And to be a woman who shows up in the world, who asks for what she wants, and therefore manifests it and lives her dream life, she is in the spotlight, she's being seen, she's taken up space. And so that can feel really, really intense for our nervous system. And so starting to notice that and really breathing into that and noticing, is there some guilt there? Is there some fear there? And so this is actually one of the main things that I work with my client on, is working with, they'll ask me like, how do I get rid of this guilt? Or how do I feel safe? How do I develop that sense of inner safety? And the thing is that it can be a really like a downward spiral when we get into the guilt or the shame, because let's say, we get something, we start to get what we want, and then we feel guilty about it. And then we judge ourselves for feeling guilty about it. So then we're like, oh, I logically know that, I should feel fine about this and that I logically deserve this. But in the back of my mind, I feel guilty. And now I feel guilty about feeling guilty. So I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, but definitely, yeah. Serenity says, yes, I see. Candace is nodding her head over there, and Denise, like, yep, yes, yes, I felt like that. And it's like, we judge ourselves so hard for these things. It's just like, oh, I'm on a healing journey. And so now, I should never feel these things anymore because I'm above all of that. But at the end of the day, it's like, oh my gosh, we have been told this shit our entire life. And it's so, so deep within there. And so that's just one thing that I tell people all the time, and I can't say it enough, is be gentle with yourself. You're doing amazing. And the more and more, Nana's do hearts to you too. And yeah, we're doing so great. And this shit is so, so hard. And it takes time. Be gentle and have patience. And when we're working with these old patterns around guilt, around shame, all of these things, I found that one of the most important things, um, to help actually overcome this or work with this or get to a place where it's no longer such an issue is to start getting willing to be uncomfortable and to do the exact opposite of what we're trained to do with these emotions. So, a lot of times when we feel guilt or we feel shame, we push them down and we're like, oh, like I'm not supposed to feel that, or I don't want to feel that because it doesn't feel good. And so to do the exact opposite and to actually acknowledge it and feel it. And so when that guilt comes up, let's say we um, set a boundary with our partner and we say, like, okay, every Wednesday night, I need to have time alone, for example. And then we notice that this guilt comes up within us and we're like, oh, am I a bad person? And really just sitting with that guilt and noticing not only the emotion of the guilt, but the sensations in the body. So sitting with it and just breathing into it and taking a moment to just be with it. And so now that we can start to feel, okay, I feel this discomfort. I'm not dying though. Like nothing is actually happening. So I can feel this guilt and I can also do so without having it to make it mean something about me or dictate my decisions. And so just going from this judgment, because so often we're constantly at war with ourselves and we're fighting against these parts of ourselves that are actually just trying to protect us. They're saying, hey, listen, if you're not a people pleaser, your mommy's not going to like you anymore. It's just trying to help us, and it's working so, so hard. And so to take a moment to just say, like, okay, I hear you, I feel you, and then go on and be that fucking strong ass powerful woman and ask for what you want anyway. Just the same as they say, feel the fear and do it anyway. But I feel like a step that's missed when they say that is to not just feel it, but to just to be with it and to acknowledge it, not to push through it right away. Take that moment to breathe. And so I'd love to invite you all to just practice this with me right now. And so you can take a moment to take a deep breath and just close your eyes if you'd like to. And just taking a moment to feel into an aspect of either your sexuality, your partnership, or previous partnership, or just your life in general, where you tend to feel a lot of guilt, or it could also be shame. So this could be maybe a fantasy that you have around sex that you feel a lot of shame, or um, you love to wear a certain sexy outfit, but you feel some guilt around that, or like asking for your partner for space, like I said, or whatever comes to you. And just taking a moment to really feel into that situation, noticing if you can kind of bring in the specifics of what happened during that situation, or what might happen, what you might see, hear, and feel. And as you do this, just kind of starting to notice what happens in your body. And if you don't notice a lot, that's totally fine. This is a new practice. But even if you don't, just taking a couple more moments to really drop into it and starting to notice, like, oh, maybe I feel some nausea in my stomach area. Maybe I feel like a clenching in my throat or a heaviness in my chest. And just taking some moments to breathe into that, whatever it is that you feel. And as you do, just seeing if it's accessible in this moment to send that part of yourself that's feeling this uncomfortable emotion or sensation, just sending it some love. So maybe you can connect with your heart space or your higher self or the universe, wherever you feel that there may be some love available. And just sending this part of yourself that love, letting it flow in or wrapping it in a hug or whatever feels good to you in this moment. And just maybe seeing if there's even any words of comfort or affirmation that you can share with this part of yourself, this living part of your consciousness. It's having these challenging emotions and feelings. Like, I see you, I feel you, it's understandable that you would feel this way. You might even see if there's gratitude or acceptance there that you can offer. And if not, that's okay too. But maybe even saying, thank you for protecting me in the best way that you knew how for so long. And asking if it feels good to do so, asking this part of you if there's anything else that it needs, maybe some reassurance or big hug. And knowing that you're doing this with an actual part of your subconscious mind that's picked up these really heavy limiting beliefs. It just needs a little love. So, taking a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And if there's anything you'd like to share about that experience in the chat, anything that you felt, any how it was for you in any way, you can, or you also cannot if you don't want to. Um, yeah, I always just find that it's so powerful to just remember that these parts of our mind, when we feel this fear or this guilt, it's like sometimes it's like, oh, this is annoying. I'm trying to do something over here. Like, and it's like these parts of us are trying to protect us. And when we can go um from fighting against them to offering them love, really fucking powerful change can happen very, very quickly. And so, another thing that you can do once you start to drop in and start to kind of befriend these other parts of yourself is really start to explore. And you can journal about this, you can meditate on this, and really feel into what beliefs have I been taught, or what beliefs have I taken on that are actually causing me to feel this guilt? So, a lot of times we picked up beliefs from our parents, from our caregivers, and sometimes we're really, clear on them. Like, oh, my mom always told me that I was going to be a slut if I had sex before marriage or whatever. And then other ones are just lurking beneath the surface, and um, we don't even really necessarily know the extent to which they control the way that we live our life and the way that we think. And so when we pull these up and we actually start becoming aware of them and looking at them, we're like, huh, what the hell is this? Like, this is not, I don't believe this at all. And so bringing that awareness to it is the first step to actually changing it and to making change, bringing it into our conscious awareness. And Candace says, deep guilt, should do more inner work around that. Didn't realize I felt so much deep guilt from not wanting to have sex all the time with my partner. Yes. Oh my gosh, this is such a huge one. And yeah, there's so much that can be done with that, deep work around that. But just as far as in the future, if that comes up again, not wanting to have sex and then having that guilt, just revisiting this part of yourself and just doing the same. Like, I see you, I love you, I feel this guilt, and I'm going to take some deep breaths with it. And Iris said, wow, such a deep release for me. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes, absolutely. So, so when we start to become more aware of these beliefs, we can name them, and naming them starts to take away the power. Yeah, you're welcome, Candace. Um, when we name something, instead of it just lurking, unnamed, unknown beneath the surface, it's like, I'm going to name this belief. This belief is, I believe that my needs are not as important as other people's, or I believe that um my I don't deserve to receive pleasure. And when you name it out loud, it's like, what? I actually have that in there? Like, logically, that makes no sense. I know that, that makes no sense at all, but that doesn't stop it from lurking in our subconscious mind and controlling so much. And so you can start by naming the belief, and then the next step there is to forgive yourself for the belief. And you can either write it down, or you can look in the mirror and look into your eyes, and you can say the whole thing. So, I forgive myself for the belief that my needs come after everyone else's, or I forgive myself for the belief that I won't be loved if I don't smile and be happy all the time, or whatever the case may be. And so I did want to invite you all. Sometimes this takes a little while to feel into the beliefs, but sometimes there's some that are right on the surface. And it's like, I know I have that one. So if there are any beliefs that you want to start this process with right now, and share in the chats, I forgive myself for the belief that, and then share your belief. It can be even more powerful to state this with a group of amazingly radiant, powerful goddesses here to witness you. Serenity says, my shame was and still kind of is around being a sex worker. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So much shame around that in our society. And, consciously we might, yeah, the stigma that is all around that, that is around all of that. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, there's so much in our society, so much stigma around that. And um, logically, you may, and I don't, of course, know exactly, but you may have some pride and some excitement and some like, fuck yeah, I'm a sex worker and I love it. And then also that guilt. So it's like you can have one and then you can have the other as well. Also was in a sexually addictive relationship for 3 years. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so all of these things, so much deeper work can continue to be done over time. Yeah, I'm working on a limiting belief around, I forgive myself for the belief that I'm not worthy of taking up space with my words, with my body, in my relationship, during sex. And this is something that, unfortunately, it's not like a one and done thing, like, I forgive myself for that. I mean, maybe, I hope so. But it's, a lot of times it's a journey. And so, each and every time that it comes up, you can go back to holding yourself, breathing into the sensations, sending love, sending acceptance, giving that part of yourself what it needs, and then forgiving yourself for the belief and doing it over and over. And if there's a particularly strong belief that you're working with, if you do this every day and just say, forgive yourself, and do the mirror work or write it down. Candace says, sending you love, Serenity. Yes, we're all sending you love. Iris says, I forgive myself for the belief that my voice isn't valid to express my wants and needs wholly. I forgive myself for feeling awkward and stuck when my partner asks me to share what turns me on. And I have the words in my mind, but they don't come out of my mouth. I am free to be loved when I express my truth. Yes. Oh my gosh. That is so beautiful. And I mean, I know that I resonate with so much of that. And I imagine that probably many of the others do here as well. Yeah. Yeah, I'm free to be loved when I express my truth. There's so much around if I speak my truth, if I whether it's what I do want or whether it's what I don't want, then I won't be loved anymore. And even though, at the end of the day, we have to love ourselves and we have to accept ourselves, the desires for love and acceptance from others date back to the time that we were in tribal and communal living situations. And if we were pushed out of our tribe or community, we wouldn't have any supplies, we wouldn't have anything to live. And so we would die. And so basically, the fear of not being accepted or not belonging or not being loved is the fear of death to our subconscious mind. And so we have to understand and be gentle with ourselves around that. Candace says, I forgive myself for not wanting sex all the time because I think my partner will leave me or not love me. And I'm taking the time to heal what is preventing me from being sexual again. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I know that when I went through my sexual healing, I literally didn't want to have sex for a whole year. And so I didn't. And during that time, I was like, wow, am I ever going to want sex again? And I did, but just giving myself that time to not have sex. And I'm not saying, shouldn't have sex for a year if you don't want to, but yeah, it's so powerful to listen and to respect and honor ourselves because so many of us have had times when we haven't done that to ourselves or others haven't done it to us. And it's never too late to start building that relationship and giving ourselves that love. Yes, I love all the love in the chat. Love you all so much. So, yeah, if you have any other ones, you can continue to share. I'm just going to share one other more practical step with y'all, and then we're going to go into the sex magic practice. And I'm so excited about that. We might go a little bit over an hour. So I know if some of you have to leave, that's totally fine. But I just get so excited and I want to say all the things. So, um, yeah. So the other practical step, if you feel like, oh yeah, your dog has a potty. Yeah, no worries, my dear. We will be here. um, yeah, if you feel like it's really hard to ask for something that you want, especially I know a lot of us have challenges for asking for our desires in the bedroom. I know that that's something that I worked through for a long time. A lot of times I feel like my body goes into like an actual freeze state when I'm like, I have this thing that I want, and it could be during sex, but it could also be like asking for a raise at work or asking your crush out on a date. It could be anything. And it's like, okay, I know that I want this, but it's just like, oh, this freeze that comes up. And that's so understandable because, again, it's going against all of our conditioning and everything that we've been taught. And so it can be really, really helpful. And again, this sounds very simple, but it's something that helped me so much to just start small. So you can start at the very beginning. You could just be sitting next to your partner and just ask them, can I have a kiss? Or you could go to a restaurant and ask, like, hey, can I get an extra side of ranch dressing? Like it could be anything. Like start wherever you're at. And then, but do this in a very conscious way. And so instead of just, doing random things just to do it, pick something that's a little edgy. And then as you do, notice again what's coming up in your body. So notice any sensations, any feelings, and really pay attention. So maybe you feel some excitement, maybe your heart is pounding, maybe you feel tension in your stomach, and maybe you feel both together. Like you feel excited and powerful, but you feel fear and contraction. And so just noticing what's there and again, breathing into it and just feeling like I can feel these things, I can acknowledge them, and I can still do the thing. And then once you actually ask for what you want, and then once you get what you want, paying attention again to how it feels then. So, how does it feel to actually ask? And then once I receive it, what kind of sensations do I get in my body around that? And taking a mental and physical snapshot of how it is. Like I did this thing. I asked for this thing and I got it. Remembering how that is and even like meditating and taking your mind back to that moment will really start getting again your subconscious mind on board with, okay, this is possible. I did this and I didn't die. And it's going to get easier and easier with practice. So I know that's a lot of info. I'm curious if anyone has any questions or comments or anything before we move into the more energetic embodiment practice. And you can unmute or put in the chat. In the chat. Candace loves it all. I love you all. Amazing. So we're gonna move into the sex magic practice. As I talked about earlier, it really is important to do both the outer work and the inner work. And so this is a beautiful embodiment and energetic practice. I've found that our sexual and life force energy is one of the most powerful tools that we have for stepping into our full power. But this is something that we're usually never taught. We're not taught in school. Like, wow, you have this like incredibly powerful force of energy in your pussy that you can breathe into for full body orgasms and to like take over the world and make shit happen and live your best life. So a lot of times our sexual energy is just latently kind of sitting there waiting for us to tap into it. And so for this practice, we're going to take the power of our intention and our desires, and we're going to infuse it with this potent life force energy. And we're going to, the sexual life force energy rests in our first chakra, which is in our cervix or in our pussy area. So we're going to breathe in and invite it up through each of our 7 chakras. And if you're not super familiar with chakras, that's fine. I'll guide you through it. They're powerful energy centers within our body that each have different qualities. So as we breathe them up, we'll infuse this life force energy with each of the different beautiful qualities. And we will then shoot it out the top of our head through our crown chakra into the universe to declare our desires to the universe and manifest them into the universe, into the physical plane. And I find that not only is this very powerful in a spiritual and energetic way, but I feel so energized afterwards that I can pretty much just get up and make whatever I want happen right then and there. So it's one of my favorite practices. Today, we're going to be doing the practice more in a sensual way so you can touch your body sensually rather than sexually. And we're going to use breath and intention. Then you can also take this practice and use it during self-pleasure or during sex. And if you do, you definitely don't need to climax or orgasm to make it work. But if you do want to orgasm, you would wait until your energy is right at the top of your head, and as you're declaring your desires to the universe, and you orgasm for that little extra boost of power. So just a couple other things to keep in mind. If this is the first time you've done this type of practice, or even if it's not, you may feel a lot going on. So you may feel heat or energy moving. You might feel sensations, emotions, your body like it wants to move or shake, or you might not really feel much at all. And so I really encourage you to just make your experience right and know that each time that we do this practice, it will be different, and each time is perfect just the way that it is. So if you ever need to take a break or slow down, you're also welcome to do that. So any questions about that? And of course, I'll be guiding you through it. All right. So I'm going to put on some music for us real quick. And you can let me know if you can hear both the music and me as well. Hopefully you can. So finding a place to get comfortable, sitting down. Music a little louder. Okay, thank you, Candace. And yeah, so finding a place to sit down and get comfortable. You want to be invite you to begin by just bringing one of your desires to mind. So this could be a desire from earlier. Could really be anything. It could be around sex or relationships, or around finances, around your dream life. But make it very, very clear in one specific thing. Make sure that it's in the positive. So, like we were talking about earlier, not what you don't want, what you do want. And really starting to bring that desire into your mind in a visualization as if it's happening right here and now. So, not in the future, but as if you're seeing it there in front of you, seeing it with all five senses. So, noticing what is it that I see around me that lets me know that I have achieved this desire. Noticing what it is that you hear, what kind of sounds, what are you or other people saying now that you've achieved this desire? What are you feeling in your body? What are you touching? What kind of emotions do you have now that this desire is yours? And noticing lastly what you taste and what you smell in this beautiful reality. And if that's a little bit challenging, just try and see if you can really bring something in. The more detail, the better. Taking a moment to bask in this beautiful vision, breathing it in, letting your breath deepen just a little bit. As you deepen your breath even a little bit more, starting to become aware of your cervix or the energy of your cervix if you don't have the physical cervix. This is located at the top of the vagina. And feeling this area, sending your breaths all the way down. You can keep your desire in the back of your mind, but starting to focus again now on your body. Breathing into the cervix and really into the entire pussy area. Starting to visualize a beautiful ball of energy here. Your sexual life force energy. Feeling its power as you breathe into it. Breathing and visualizing it beginning to grow and swirl and awaken. Each and every breath, seeing if there's any movement that your body wants to do, maybe rocking the hips or moving the spine, or you can also sit in silence and stillness. Feeling this energy fully awaken there in your pussy, there in your cervix, and the energy of your pussy and cervix. And now, when you are ready, we're going to begin to invite this energy to move up the body, up the back of the spine, to the back, right beneath your belly button area. So when you inhale, breathing it up the back, and then exhaling it forward to the belly button, and then down the front, back to the first chakra, the pussy, the cervix. And now doing this circular pattern, up the back to below the belly button, down the front, and back to the first chakra. Breathing and circulating this energy. And as you do, feeling this sexual life force energy begin to be infused with the qualities of your second chakra. Feeling it infused with sexuality, with creativity, with delicious, watery qualities. Continuing with this circular motion for a few more breaths. And when you're ready, breathing that energy up now to the solar plexus, up the back of the spine, and down the front of the body. So up to the middle of the chest, the solar plexus, and down the front. Breathing and inviting this powerful energy to begin to flow upwards through your body. Breathing it into the solar plexus. This is the core of your fire, of your willpower, of your strength in the world, and also your vulnerability. So breathing the energy up and allowing it to be infused with all of those delicious attributes, and then breathing it back down to the pussy, to the cervix, breathing at your own pace. And if at any time you want to sigh or make sound, if your body wants to move, listening to the innate wisdom of your body as it clears away any old stagnant energy, any blockages that are holding you back from stepping into your true power. When you're ready, breathing this energy now up to the heart, up to the back of the heart and down the front. Breathing and sending it all the way to the heart center, connecting your sexual energy and your heart. Filling this energy with love, with openness, compassion, and healing, and sending that back down to your pussy. Checking in with yourself and just noticing how you feel. Noticing if you need to slow down, if you need to take a break. Trusting yourself. And if you feel ready, breathing now up the back of the spine to the neck, to the throat, and down the front, breathing through the throat chakra. Activating your voice, speaking your truths, connecting with your unique genius as you breathe in this delicious circular pattern, inviting that sexual life force energy up. When you're ready now, we'll invite it up to the back of the brain and forward through the third eye. That's a little bit above and between your eyebrows. Down through the front of the body. And breathing in this circular pattern, infusing this energy now with your intuition, your sight beyond what you can see with your two physical eyes. Breathing this energy all the way up, creating new places for it to flow through your body. Breathing it back down. Taking just a little bit longer here, and now you will breathe all the way up to the crown chakra, the top of the head, and down the front of the entire body, back to the pussy, back to the cervix, creating this full circuits of all of your chakras, all of your power centers within your body, now connecting your sexual energy with your connection to the universe, to the divine, to your higher self, and taking a little bit longer here, sinking in, noticing what sensations you feel as this energy flows through you. And even if you don't feel very much right now, knowing that it's there, and all you need to do is just use your breath and intention to feel it. Doing this a few more times, and now calling back in your desire that you visualize at the beginning, bringing it in and visualizing it in all five senses as you circulate this energy, building it up, seeing your desire so clearly, manifesting manifesting that shit into reality. When you are ready, bringing that energy up to the top of your head on the inhale, and on the exhale, sending it out to the universe. Sending it out with your desires, declaring to the universe, this is what I want, this is what I'm bringing in, and so it shall be. Taking a moment now to feel that delicious sexual life force energy dripping back down upon you, feeling it so warm and sensual, slowly flowing back down through each of your chakras, revitalizing you with energy from the universe, repeating to yourself, I am worthy. I deserve it. I deserve this. I am worthy and deserving of every one of my desires. Taking a moment now to just feel how it feels to be so fucking powerful, because you are, each and every one of you. And in your own time, gently beginning to move your fingers and toes, coming back slowly, opening your eyes in your own time. When you feel ready, you can take as long as you would like to slowly come back. But as you are ready, I would love to invite any of you to share if you would like, sharing in the chat, unmuting yourself. I personally love this practice. I use it to manifest. I used it when I was calling in my dream partner. I use it every time that I am calling in new clients, and it's so powerful. The more that you do it, the more powerful that you will feel the energy flowing through. And I've actually been able to feel such orgasmic, delicious energy, like full body orgasms flowing through without even touching myself. Nana says, thank you, darling. You're so welcome. Yeah, this is such a beautiful practice, and you'll all get the recording for this workshop. So if you do want to do it again, you can always replay it. Candace says, thank you so much. I feel so light and liberated. You are so welcome, my dear. Yeah, it's amazing how something like this can change your whole day. I know that it definitely does to me. Candace says that feels like true and pure manifestation. I know. Yes. Serenity says, I just got back. Oh, you're so welcome. Yes, it's such powerful energy that we have within our own bodies. And so, yes, magic, sex magic. Fuck yeah. I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up today. I know that sometimes it can take so much courage to show up and to participate in something where we're talking about these vulnerable topics and things that can be a little bit uncomfortable. But it's so powerful to have a group of women coming together in this way. And I'm so thankful for all of you. Before we close, I want to share with you an announcement that I have and a way that you can continue to work with me if you are feeling called to go deeper into sexual empowerment. So I am so excited to invite each and every one of you to my 10-week group coaching program, which is called Boss Babe in the Bedroom and Beyond. I offered this program in the summer and it was incredibly potent, transformational, and just so beautiful. We all connected very, very deeply, and it was life changing for the women who went through it. And this is a program that's for you if you're ready to reconnect to your confidence, your sensuality, and your pleasure so that you can both experience the sex life that you've always fantasized about, but also magnetize your desires both during sex and in the rest of your life as well. So today we've gone over some pretty powerful shit as far as how to become a boss babe, but obviously there's only so much that we can cover in 1 hour of time. So to really create that deep, long lasting and widespread change in your life, we do need more time and space. So I've been putting a ton of love and time into this workshop or into this program. And it's not going to be one of those like DIY, read this, do these workshops, blah, blah, blah on your own. It's all about creating community and all of us coming together to share and support each other with my support every step of the way as well. And so I really do feel if you've taken the time as you have to show up for this workshop today and to participate and to stay all the way through, that something within you is ready for change. Something within you is ready to release all of this guilt and bullshit and people pleasing patterns from the past so that you really can step into your full empowerment and pleasure. So I want to share with you the info page for my program in just a second. And so that I really encourage you to take some time to look at this page and really make a powerful decision. Is this the next step for me? Is this something that could support me in my sexual empowerment journey? And I'm actually going to share my screen with you really quick and show you just a little bit more about what this program is all about. Let's see. Okay, I think you should be able to see it now. So, Boss Babe in the Bedroom and Beyond, it's about reconnecting to your sensuality, confidence, empowerment so that you can experience more pleasure, but also freedom and confidence within and outside of the bedroom. This group program is for you if you tend to put other people's needs and feelings and agendas over your own, leaving you feeling unfulfilled and resentful, both during sex and in the rest of your life. This is for you if you struggle to ask for what you truly want during sex and just kind of go with what's happening, even though you really desire something else. It's for you if you feel disconnected from your body or your pleasure and you spend a lot of time in your head during sex. It's for you if you have a lot of shame or guilt around your desires and around your sexuality, and this holds you back from fully experiencing joy and connection. And so, yeah, so it's all about releasing guilt, shame, and blockages around your sexuality, embracing your true worthiness, connecting with a confident pleasure goddess within. If you're noticing the consequences of not using your voice and speaking your truths in every area of your life, and you're ready to step into your power. Definitely, if you feel like there's got to be something more to sex and sexuality than what you've been experiencing, and you'd like to take your sex life to the next level with more communication, intimacy, and orgasmic bliss. And just in general, if you're ready to take back control of your pleasure, your body, and your life. So, this is a 10-week program. Each week at the beginning of the week, you'll receive a video module that's a lecture with information about the topic that we're going to be covering. And then each week you'll also receive a guided audio practice that you do on your own. I recommend 3 to 5 times a week. And this is going to be a breath work, a pleasure practice, a meditation, something like that, or a combination of all three. So that you can really take that, what you've learned logically, and really get it into the body and get that deep embodiment healing from it. We do live group coaching every week. Like I mentioned, this is a community. So I really want, and I experienced in the last group, everyone coming together, really becoming close, witnessing and sharing each other. And I feel that that's such an important part of our healing. Then you also get journal prompts every week. There's a lot of juicy info packed into this course. So you do get access to it for life. So you can always go back and rewatch the modules, redo the practices. We have our Facebook group so that everyone can connect and chat on a day-to-day basis. And then we're going to do a connection call with a live guided practice before the group starts to really set the tone for everything. And the first 5 people who sign up will receive a bonus one-on-one coaching call from me. So that's where we'll really connect and dive into and tackle your specific challenges and blockages that are coming up around sexuality and empowerment. So I'm going to share just a little bit more about the topics that we'll be diving into each week. So the first week is the intro, really getting super fucking clear on what do I desire to get out of this program. Like we talked about today, that's the first step to actually getting it. So that powerful intentional setting and learning the foundational tools that we're going to be using through the entire course to reconnect with your body and experience more pleasure and sensitivity and presence during sex, but in every area of your life. Then we dive into self love and self care. So, exquisite self care is one of the most important ways to build worthiness and feeling deserving and feeling confident in the world. And deep self love is absolutely essential for starting the healing journey in a way that's going to be long lasting and supportive. Then we go into body love. So, a lot of us have a lot of limiting beliefs and old bullshit, shame around our bodies. So, this is about embracing our bodies the way that they are and fully starting to celebrate and love them. Then we go into inner child healing. So, really going back to where some of these limiting beliefs and pain started, reconnecting with our inner child and what I call reparenting our inner child. So, giving them the love that they may not have received in exactly the ways that they needed. Then we get into pussy love. So connecting with our pussy, not only our physical pussy, which is obviously a beautiful source of pleasure and connection for us, but also our pussy as the seat of our intuition, our femininity, our radiance, our sensuality, and so much fucking power. Then we go into intentional self pleasure. So it's fun sometimes to have a quickie with ourselves, but self pleasure and masturbation can also be used for deep healing, mind blowing ecstasy, and manifestation, like we learned a little bit about today. Then we have a whole week on healing shame and judgment. We talked about this a little bit today, the way that we can be at war with ourselves, so cloaked in shame, and it can really put a damper on so much of our lives, our connection, everything. Um, and so then we'll work on healing that. Then we go into boundaries, power, and speaking our truth. So, working on those good girl and people pleaser tendencies, really connecting with our sacred yes and no, and learning how to speak them out into the world. Week 9, of course, so many of us have received the messages from the time that we're young that it's not safe to be a woman or it's not safe to be a sexual woman in our world. And so we'll really start to reconnect with that sense of inner safety so that we can fully and proudly express our sexuality. And then week 10 is really experimenting and playing with the different aspects of our sexuality. So sometimes we can get really stuck in a certain expression of our sexuality, like the innocent good girl or the porn star who's more performative. But really, we have this wide variety of aspects of our sexuality that we can get to know and play with. And so we'll be playing with that as well. So this is a little bit more about me. I already shared. These are some testimonials from last time. A little bit more about me, frequently asked questions. And yeah, so that I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quick. Yeah, so that's kind of the basics of this. You all here today are the first to know about this program. So I'm opening the doors officially today, and they'll be closing on the 15th of December, and then we'll be starting the program on January 3rd. I am limiting it to 10 spots because I really do want us to have time to share and a lot of support to be able to be given from me to each and every one of you. And so one of the things that I find a lot of times is people don't want to invest in something like this because they feel like, oh, I can't possibly spend the time or the money on myself. And so basically, they're ironically held back by the exact challenges that this program is set to overcome. So now that you have a little bit more awareness about this after our workshop today, I really believe that you're able to make a powerful decision about whether this program is supportive for you and whether it's going to be supportive to you, and saying fuck you to all those old beliefs and stepping into this container in the new year. So I would love to answer any questions if you have any. Candace says, I deeply appreciate you sharing this. You're an empowered goddess. When is the next one we'll be doing? Sounds great. I will be out of the country end of January and February. Um, I'm not 100% sure. I usually do run it, or I plan to run it more than once a year. So I can definitely keep you updated about that. I'm also going to put the link in here to schedule a free call with me, um, so that we can chat a little bit more about your specific desires and challenges and how this program can support you. Yes, Candace, it's so fucking powerful. I loved the last one that I did. And if you go onto my IGTV on Instagram, I did some interviews with some of the women who were in the last round, and they experienced some powerful transformations. So if you'd like to learn a little more about their experience, you can always go on my IGTV and look that up as well. So at this point, I just wanted to see if there's any last questions about the program or just about anything we've gone over. Oh, you did some of that. Awesome. Love it. Amazing. And if there's no questions right now, my DMs are always open. My email is always open. You're so welcome to reach out to me at any time. If anything comes up with for you after going through this, it's a lot of very powerful and intense and deep stuff. So if you're like, oh, I should have asked that question, or wow, I feel like a lot of emotions coming up, or anything like that, you can just reach out to me at any time and we'll talk through it. So I'm here for you. Thank you again for your time. And I'm sending you so much love. And I will see you all soon. Thank you. Bye.